Hello friends, welcome back to VTV Learning. I am Vivek Tamlarsan. Today we are going to see how to send stacked performance score or KPI score like below to each staff in your team using VBA. This topic contains VBA coding, so if you have some basic knowledge on VBA, that would be helpful. If you are new to VBA coding, no worries. I will explain each step to make sure you understand better. Let's get into the topic. I have a staff-wise performance details here for 5 months, and I would like to send a separate email to each individual staff in my team with their month-on-month KPI score. First, you need to enable macro. For that, you need to click on File, then Option, click on Custom Ribbon, select the developer option like this and click OK. Developer tab will be available here in the ribbon, and you could see Visual Basic macro, record macro. So entire developer option have been enabled now. Macro is available on two file extension. One is XLSM and another one is XLSB. At present, I have the file in XLSX extension. Let me save the file in XLSB format. I have saved the file in XLSB format. Before getting into VBA coding, we must be having all the necessary details. So I'm going to create another sheet here. I have named it as macro. I have updated staff name and email address. I'm using my own email address for each staff. From your side, you can use the individual email address of your staff. I have entered email address from which I'm going to trigger the email and subject line for the email. Then CC is blank. In case if you want to add email address, you can add it. While adding multiple email address, you need to mention semicolon. We have our record details and we can move on to coding part. In order to open VBA editor, you have to click on developer, then Visual Basic. You will get a blank screen like this. You may also open the same window by pressing Alt F11. Enable Project Explorer and Properties window by clicking on View. Now just right click on this workbook, click Insert and Module. This is the page where we are going to code it. I'm just naming the code. Before coding, you need to ensure you have the list of options that is enabled. By clicking on Tools, References, please ensure the list of options that I have shown in the screen is enabled on your Excel and click OK. Now let's begin with our code using sub and preferred name. Post clicking on enter, you will get in sub automatically. First, I'm going to declare variables. Here, I have declared variables for Outlook application and Outlook mail item. Here, I have assigned the object to a variable so that whenever I call OTLK name, Outlook application will open. Whenever I call ML, a new email will be opened. Let me assign variable for the Excel workbook as well. Now I'm going to refer this 3 cell. This code is to copy the value that is available on G3 to EML. In G3 we have vtvenlightening@gmail.com, so the same will be copied to this particular reference variable EML. Likewise, I'm going to assign for next two cell. Let's create the email content. I am using with statement. In with, you can call series of statement. When you begin with, you need to ensure you're closing it by using end with. Here, the ML is Outlook mail item. Whenever I create a new email, whatever option that I need to fill, that is what I'm going to enter here. I'm mentioning from which email address it needs to send an email to all my team members. It is from the email address I have mentioned in the Excel here. I have just updated the reference variable here so that it will automatically pick the value is available in Excel. Now let's update the content. Email body requires HTML code. So if you're aware about the basic HTML code, that will be helpful. I have updated the email body. Dot display is to display the email content just for your reference. Dot send is used to trigger the email. Till now, we just execute the code and let's see what it happens. In order to execute the code one by one, you need to press F8 on each instance. In case if you want to run the entire code in one stretch, you can press F5. I'm going to run it through line by line, so I'm going to press F8. You can see here in EML, I have referred my email address that is available here. Likewise, in subject line, my subject is available, and CC email address is available. Now we are in creating new email. Let's see what it displayed. Our email is ready partially. All we need to do is mapping the related data for each stuff. Let's do it. I'm stopping code. You have to click on this particular reset button in order to stop the code. Now let me show you what I'm going to do in the code. Based on each stuff, you just go to this particular tab and apply filter, then filter that particular stuff, then copy the content, then paste it into email body. Let's see how it does. For looping each stuff, we need to use for loop. I have entered for loop here, like for n is nothing but a variable. It has to start from number second row till last row, and post completing all the step here, it has to go with next stuff. This code will find the last row of my staff list. For example, it comes down here, which is the last row, 10,48,576. From here, it goes up and it finds the last row is number 16. So that from number 2 to 16, it goes one by one and apply filter, then copy the content. This two code will copy the name and staff email address one by one, which is nothing but my staff name is available on A column and the staff email is available on B column, and n is nothing but the value that we have assigned here, n equal to 2. So first it go with number 2, B2 and A2. So B2 is our email address, A2 is our first staff name. That will be stored in that particular variable. We have stored the variable. Now we will move on to the next part by filtering the data. Highlighted code will be filtering the data in our staff wise performance tab one by one. For example, this code will identify the last row and this code will apply the filter. Then this code will apply the filter criteria. See, the staff email and name has been captured. See, the last row is 73. The last row is 73 and it has applied filter. See, filter is applied. Now it's going to apply the criteria. Yes, criteria have been exactly applied. Now we can copy the table. I'm dragging the step to previous one. You just need to hover the mouse and drag it towards the beginning step and just press F8. Let me show you. The highlighted or the filtered content has copied. Let me stop the code. Here, post copying the content, you will not be able to paste it into body of the email. Hence, we required one more object, which is file system object. Let me declare that. Okay, the copied content will be pasted in a new workbook. It will create a new workbook, and in that workbook, first sheet, it will paste the column width and paste entire content. Then that workbook will be assigned to the variable WB2. So if I want to call that second workbook, I can use this particular name to call that workbook. I'm going to call one more object to convert the copied content to apply in our email body. In this code, I'm creating a new HTML file. Post that, I'm copying the table which we have pasted in workbook 2. That will be pasted in the HTML format and saved in the same path. Let me execute it so that you will understand it better. My data is copied here, you see. So now I'm going to run it from workbook.add, which will be creating a new workbook. So new workbook has been created, which is empty, and it will be pasted my column width, then pasting all my data here and assigning to a variable. Now creating a new HTML file. Before that, you just see here we don't have any HTML file, and it's going to prepare HTML file now. Created it. It is empty now. Let me open and show you. See, it is empty. Let me open the same file once again. Previously it was empty and now it has the table. I'm stopping the code. Let me store the HTML table into a variable. I have assigned the variable to store the HTML table in KPI. So this is nothing but the declaration, and here I'm just setting the table by opening a text file here, and finally it is getting assigned to KPI. Now we need to assign this KPI into email body. So I'm going to assign it over here. I'm going to run the code. In order to freeze the code, you need to click like this. The highlighted means the script will run till this particular part and it will stop on this particular line. So by pressing F5, all the steps from the beginning till the one which I have highlighted, okay, before that it will run and it stop on this particular code. Let me press F5. It ran so fast. Now I'm pressing F8 one by one. See, the table has been copied into body of the email. We need to do few adjustment so that we can get that correctly. Stopping the code. I'm going to enter the code to align the table towards left. I have freezed it at the send part. Let me run the code by pressing F5. I'm getting error because one of the file is opened, which is the second file where we copy the filtered data. Let me close that. Now pressing F5, you can see our table has been aligned to left. The only thing is you need to do some cosmetic part. Let me do it. I forgot to add two email here. Let me add it. Two email we have referred on staff email. Okay, I have updated it, and I'm going to update the name over here so that it will give you hello Stephen, like that. I have formatted the email content. Before running the code, we have to close the workbook which is opened here. I'm updating that particular code. So this code will close that particular workbook post completing the activity. I have given notes for each set of code so you can understand better. Now we have the to email as well as CC email subject, and we have too much of spaces here. Let me adjust it, removing one break, stopping the code from running. While running the code, it's just opening multiple application, right? In order to avoid that particular screen updating, you can mention this code will stop the screen updating when the application is switching between email and Excel workbook. That will be stopped completely. I'm going to check once again. Yes, now it is perfect. I have stopped sending the email, so now I'm going to enable it, and I'm going to stop the display just for smoother operations. And finally, once it is completed, I just need a notification like post triggering all email. It just throw me a pop-up like email sent successfully. That's it. One more thing, we need to close the table which we have opened here. Saving the code, running the code once again, and started receiving the emails. Yes, so email trigger has been successfully completed now. Let me click OK. Let me open my Outlook. Yes, I have received all 16 emails. First one is starting from Stephen. All good. Let me save the code. Closing the window. I'm going to create a new button here. In order to assign the macro, just right click on the shape and click on assign macro, and you will be having that macro name. Just click on that and click OK. Hereafter, if you click on this button, email will be triggered to all the staff. That's all. I hope you all have learned it. I'll be providing the link to download this workbook so you can practice on your end. If anyone watching this video without prior coding experience, please let me know your thoughts and suggestions in the comment. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you friends. Bye.